you, Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. Tell me something. Do you believe that opposites attract? Yes, opposites do attract. But the funny thing is that scientists are forever trying to prove it by mixing all kinds of concoctions in the science lab, when all they had to do was to ask me, and I would point them straight to my neighbors, Doris and Darcie. Now, Doris is a midget, and her 3'8" height is complemented by a width of almost similar dimensions. But despite all of that, Doris is fiercely fashionable. She proudly displays her various wigs and accessories to match every outfit. Well, it is clear that Doris is not schooled in the airs and graces. But to watch that woman move from sexy, sassy, to downright ghetto is like watching an artist at work. Darcie usually gets the brunt of Doris's sharp tongue as she accuses him from next door of wanting to sleep all day when the dog food there to cook, the yard ain't clean in years and it looked like wilderness, and the garbage there to be taken out. Now poor Darcie would drag his 6'3" skinny frame out of the house, mumbling under his breath, of course, out of Doris's earshot. But there are times when Darcie would pull up in his car and Doris would run to meet him with open arms. Such is the volatile nature of their relationship. Now, all the neighbors know Doris and Darcie business because Doris is not a particularly private person. So, you could imagine our surprise one day when we received an invitation. You are cordially invited to the marriage of Doris Brown and Darcie Baines at 4 o'clock on July 4th at the Methodist Church in Kingston. All the neighbors excitedly called each other, and we started to plan what we were going to give them for the wedding, and we even had a party planned for them the following week. Well, the morning of the wedding dawned bright. From next door, I could hear the excited voices of the helpers and the clanking of the pots and pans as they feverishly prepared for the reception. 4 o'clock at last. We are seated in our seats. Darcie walks in. Hair slicked back. He is wearing a crimson jacket, a purple shirt, and
yellow pants.
No, he's wearing a tie to match his baby blue pants. Ooh, quite a fine figure of a man. Well, about 10 minutes later, we hear a shout, a familiar voice. And in a flurry of excitement, confusion, Doris comes charging up the aisle, wig askew, wedding veil trailing on the ground, and she's brandishing a sheet of paper in her hand and she's shouting, "You Darcie Baines, where you there?" Darcie looks around in shock, and the congregation draws closer. Doris finally reaches up to Darcie, and she jumps up on the bench beside him, and facing him full, she lays a slap on his face. Darcie recoils in shock, and he whispers, "Doris, what do you?" Doris is not daunted. She slaps him again with the paper this time, and she says, your wife and your 5 snotty-nosed children outside asking for you. Here, she sent the paper to remind you about the marriage. Eyes on the floor. Darcie, red as a beet. He mumbles, but Doris, if you me want. Well, that was all Doris wanted to hear. She jumped down from the seat and, standing in the middle of the aisle, she fixes her wig and she turns to the audience and she says, what are you staring at? Is so me and Darcie does live? And stretching out her hand to her one and only, she says, ever so gently, come Darcie boy, come let me get married. The audience buzzed. And it was only then that the minister stepped forward. Yes, opposites do attract. Toastmasters.
Do you believe opposites attract?
Yes, Joe says so.
I can give you my own story, but